Hello students, welcome once again to my channel. Now we are going to look at this question. It says, what is the larger number? We have the fourth root of 29 or 5/3. So we want to look at which one is the larger number. So now let's look at it. Now we are going to solve this using what we call the doubling method. So we are going to double some of the numbers. So now and then we are going to focus on this. So now let's look at this. The reason why we are looking at this, as we are solving, you see why I'm using the 5/3. So now let's double 5 and that of 3. Okay, so now let's use the doubling method. Now if I double 5, I'm going to get 5 here. I double it, 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 25, 125. 125 times itself is 625. So let me stop here. Now the next one, we have 3 here, goes to 9, and then 27, and then 81, and then 243, and then when we double it, it goes to 729. Is that okay? So we can have on and on continuously in that order. Now if you look at the numbers that we have of that of 5 and that of 3, now what we are trying to do is that we are going to take a value that is more closer. It should look more closer to each other. All right, so you realize that this is 5 raised to the power 1, 5 raised to the power 1, 5 raised to the power 2, 5 raised to the power 3, 5 raised to the power 4, right? And then over here, 3 raised to the power 1, 3 raised to the power 2, 3 raised to the power 3, 3 raised to the power 4, 3 raised to the power 5. Now this, what I want to do, the reason why I pick 5 and 3 to be doing this is because of the fourth root over here. So I have to pick a value that has an exponent of 4, a base with an exponent of 4. So you realize that this 625 qualifies because it is 5 raised to the power 4, and also 3 raised to the power 4 here also qualify. But then in this case, I want to get a value that should be closer to 625, a value that is more closer to 625. 243 here is not closer, but then 729, although it's more than that, it is more closer than the rest. So I'm going to pick 5 raised to the power 4, that is for the 625, and also for 729 is 5 raised to the 3 raised to the power, so that becomes 3 raised to the power 6, right? Now so I'm picking 5 raised to the power 4, 3 raised to the power 6 in this case. So now let's look at it. So from here we have 5 raised to the power 4, and then 5 raised to the power 4 here is greater because so it's less than 3 raised to the power 6 in this case, right? Now with 3 raised to the power 6, from properties of indices, if I have 3 raised to the power 6, this I can write it as 3 raised to the power 3, and then also 3 raised to the power 3. They are multiplying, right? So in this case I have 5 to the power 4, so that should be less than 3 raised to the power 3 multiplied by 3 raised to the power. I have 5 raised to the power 4 less than 3 raised to the power. So for the sake of this, let's keep it this way: 3 raised to the power 4, and then also 3 raised to the power 2. Let's keep it that way. So with this, I have 3 raised to the power 4. So when I bases are the same, they are multiplied, add the exponents, I'm still going to get my 3 raised to the power 6. So I'm want to keep it at exponent 4 because of the fourth root over here. So let's do it that way. So I have 3 raised to the power 4 multiplied by 3 raised to the power 2. Let me push this down there. So if I'm pushing that down there, it becomes 3 raised to the power 4 in this case. So you can see that they have the same exponent, and with this I can write it as 5/3 here to the power 4, and then that should be less than 3 raised to the power 2. Now what is 3 raised to the power 2? That's 3 times 3, which is 9. So if that is 9, then this means that 3 raised to the power 3, 3 raised to the power 2 is 9. 3 raised to the power 3 is 3 times 3, which is 9 times 3, that is 27, right? Now the 27 here is let's say closer to our 29 over here, right? So if that is the case, this tells us that 5 over 3 all to the power 4 is less than the 3 raised to the power 2, which is 9. And then also this is also less than 27, right? Then this should tell us that it's still also less than our 29, right? Now from the transitive rule, if we read the transitive rule, it tells us that if a number a is less than b, and then also b is less than c, then this also means that a should also be less than c in this case. So this from our transitive rule, so we call this one the transitive property, right? So in this case we have 5 over 3 here raised to the power 4 should be less than our 29 in this case. Now we have 5 over 3 all to the power 4 less than 29. So in this case, what do I do? So I'll put the fourth root on both sides. Let's get rid of that. I have 5 over 3, and then I have less than the fourth root of 29. So basically from here, this tells us that 5 over 3 here should be less than the fourth root of 29. Now if you check this with decimals, you realize that 5 over 3 will just give us 1.667, and then the fourth root of 29 will give us 7.25. So therefore we have 5 over 3 being less than the fourth root of 29 in this case. So thank you very much for joining me in this section. I'll see you guys in the next video.